Hi students, welcome back to our biology classes. Yes, this is Divya Kanimili and I am going to teach you biology classes. Yes students, today here we are to start up with a new chapter, that is reproduction in plants. So, when you see the characteristic features of an living organism, generally a living organism should be able to grow, it should be able to breathe, it should be able to show metabolisms, it should be able to move from one place to another place. Yes, there is some exception, and it should be able to produce its own kind. That means it is able to reproduce. So these are some of the important characteristic features of a living organism. So why I am saying this? One such important characteristic feature is that to produce its own kind, right? So an organism will be able to produce its own kind. So what do you mean by its own kind? When a dog will give birth, it will give birth to a dog itself. A cat will give birth to cat itself. A buffalo will give birth to buffalo itself. And the human beings will give birth to human being itself. Right? So that's what it means. So when you see what does actually a reproduction means, the production of new individual from the parents is called as reproduction. So when you see the term reproduction, re means what here? Again. Re means what? Again. Production means what? Generation. Right? The generation of a new individual will take place again from their parents. So such a process we call it as a reproduction. Okay, the plants are also involved in the process of reproduction, right? So if you see here, there are many different ways in which a plant will give birth. Okay, so how do actually a plants will reproduce? Yes, to learn that, let us get into the topic. So there are many different ways where a plant used to process of reproduction. Yes, so let us learn the modes of reproduction in plants here. So when you see here a plant, yes, generally a plant will have leaf, stem, roots, right? So these are some of the common parts of a plant which generally almost all types of plants will possess, right? So these parts of a plant we call it as a vegetative parts of a plant. So what it is? It is called as vegetative parts of a plant. Some plants especially, or many of a plants, if you see, these plants will bear flowers, right? So not all the plants will be able to produce the flower, right? And there will be a interval or a time period for a plants to produce the flowers. So when the plant will grow to a certain height, okay, or when a plant will grow for a certain period of time, then it starts producing flowers, right? So these flowers, if you see here, they will produce only after some period of growth, right? So these flowers, if you see, they will give rise to a most important part of a plant, that is fruit, right? So when you take a mango, so this is a mango, right? So this mango we are going to eat, right? So you can find a juicy orange to yellow color part of a mango, right? So this juicy part, whatever we can see in a mango, it is nothing but the fruit. We can call it as a fleshy part, right? So this fruit will possess a hard shell inside, right? So this is called as seed. So the seed is covered by the fleshy part, right? So this seed we are going to discard generally, right? We are not going to eat the seed. So you throw this seed in your garden. After a few days you can see the growth of a new plant from the seed. That means a seed will germinate and it will lead to a new plant. So already we have seen how a germination will take place in the plant, how a seed will be converted into a plant. We learned in the 6th class, right? So now you understood, right? What is the role of a flower, right? A flower will turn up into a fruit, and fruit will possess a seed, and this seed will germinate and it will be turned up into a new plant. That means a flower is a reproductive part of a plant. Why we call as a reproductive part? Why? Because due to presence of flower itself, it is going to generate a new plant. In plants, we have two types of parts. One group is called as vegetative part and the other group is called as reproductive part. Right, now let us learn what are the different ways in which a plant reproduce. So there are two main methods by which a plant reproduce. The first method is called as asexual reproduction and the second method is called as sexual reproduction. Okay, few plants will lead to new individuals by the process of asexual reproduction and many of the plants will reproduce by means of sexual reproduction. So by the next class we will be learning about what do you mean by sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction and what are the different types of plants that are involved in these type of reproduction. So this is all about today's class, students. Let us meet in the next class. Please do like, share and subscribe to the channel.